Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today I want to go through this article here that really outlines the Lucid Motors bull thesis. Basically, why the CCIV stock could run up massively over the next few months and the next few years. So stay tuned and let's make some money. But guys, before we get into the video, please be sure to drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because that way you won't miss another video just like this one. So the article starts off by saying that there's been a lot of buzz around EV companies as of late. In April, Toyota unveiled plans for 15 new EVs. In May, Ford debuted the Lightning, an all-electric version of its famed F-150. Whether it's a legacy automaker diversifying its product line or a pure-play startup, several players are now gunning for a share of the growing EV market. Despite all the competition, few companies seem to compare with Lucid Motors. So what sets Lucid Motors apart from the rest and makes it better than all of the other competitors? Well, first off, you've got the game plan. I don't really want to read all of this word for word, but effectively Lucid Motors is going to release the Lucid Air in the second half of 2021. The Lucid Air comes in 4 different trims: the Lucid Air Dream Edition, the Grand Touring Edition, the Touring Edition, and the Air Pure Edition, giving customers a variety of different choices. The Lucid Air boasts a lot of things that other EVs don't have, such as over 500 miles to the gallon and over 1,000 horsepower, which actually means that it does more miles than the Tesla Model S Plaid Edition. It's also fairly reasonably priced. I know the Dream Edition is $169,000, but again the Tesla Model S Plaid starts at around $130,000, but by the time you add on the autonomous driving and some other fairly key bits and pieces such as half-decent alloys and a colour, it's around $140,000, $150,000 anyway, so the Lucid Air isn't actually that much more expensive. We can also see that in February, Lucid had around 7,500 reservations. As of May, that increased to 9,000, and in June, that's now over 10,000 vehicles. So we can see the demand is there for the Lucid Air as well, due to their very decent and very good marketing strategy. But similar to Tesla, Lucid doesn't just plan on being a car company. Lucid's big picture goal is to have 3 divisions: Lucid Motors, cars, similar to Tesla Motors, energy storage systems, and technology. So again, it's largely following down Tesla's route, but hopefully will be more successful than Tesla in its energy storage and kind of solar panel style business model. Again, Lucid Motors don't just plan to produce the Lucid Air and leave it at that, at their one expensive sedan. They're going to produce a Lucid Gravity, which is going to be an SUV, and then focus on cheaper vehicles and cheaper sedans, cheaper SUVs, a pickup truck, maybe even a $25,000 EV somewhere down the line. The energy storage system side of the business involves selling battery packs and battery management systems, and also energy production systems such as solar panels to residential, commercial and utility scale customers. This, I think, is also a very good and very important side of the business, because they're not just going to be selling solar panels and storage systems to residential customers, but I reckon they'll focus quite heavily on the commercial aspect, as I think there's going to be a lot of large offices out there that could really benefit from solar panels and energy storage. Currently, Lucid already supply battery packs and software to EV racing teams, and also plan to be supplying battery packs and also energy components, maybe the battery module, maybe the autonomous driving, to other large vehicle manufacturers, ICE manufacturers, whether it's going to be Audi or BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Toyota, Hyundai. There's a ton of different companies out there, and Lucid is actually in talks with some of those companies about supplying them with different components. In 2021, Lucid is going to be producing around 500 vehicles. In 2022, at least 20,000 vehicles. And a recent SEC filing's just been released that says that in 2023, 2024 and 2025, production is actually going to increase to over 50,000 vehicles, and they're going to combine the next 2 expansion stages into one just sole expansion stage that's been expedited. Basically, they're ahead of schedule in their future plans. Lucid obviously have some very ambitious profit targets and some very ambitious growth targets. Tesla didn't become profitable as fast as Lucid Motors are expecting to become profitable. Tesla was obviously founded in 2003, 17 years ago, but only became profitable in 2020. Lucid are expecting to do it in say 5 to 10 years. But I think considering Tesla were pioneering the grounds for electric vehicles, it was much more of a slow and rocky path full of many different pitfalls. Lucid Motors are coming in later down the line when the business model has been proven by Tesla and hopefully are going to become profitable at a much faster rate. Lucid also have competitive advantages. Speaking of management, Lucid's C-suite is stacked with talent. 18 people out of its 20-person team have experience working for rival automakers and various Fortune 100 tech companies. A lot of their employees actually came from Apple, and 8 out of the 20 used to work at Tesla. Lucid's CEO, Peter Rawlinson, was the chief vehicle engineer of the Tesla Model S and is the leading engineer behind the Lucid Air. This is really good because it basically means that the management team have a lot of experience coming from very high profile roles at Apple, Tesla, other large car companies, and therefore have all that experience to be able to drive a new startup company to the big leagues at a very quick rate. Of course, none of Lucid's short-term or long-term goals matter if its vehicles can't stack up to the competition, and that's why Lucid have really focused on getting their vehicle absolutely perfect before releasing it. Given its current price point, Lucid sees itself mainly competing with a Mercedes-Benz S-Class and then Tesla when rolling out its sub-$100,000 trims. Despite the stiff competition, Lucid believes it's the clear winner when it comes to EV technology because of its faster charging time and longer range with a smaller, lower cost battery pack. And I think that's really important. If Peter can really focus on reducing the cost of the battery pack and the overall cost of the model, he can, in the future, deliver cheaper vehicles with the same high quality. I think this part is really important. The battery pack, motor and transmission, inverter, charging system and software are all developed in-house, giving the Air an integrated powertrain that doesn't rely on components and parts from other independent suppliers. This is really important because in future, Peter can really benefit from economies of scale. As he starts manufacturing more and more vehicles, it's going to become cheaper and cheaper for him, rather than a supplier just charging him a set price and not budging on their price if he starts ordering more components. It's worth mentioning that if the Lucid Air Dream Edition achieved its intended specs, it would be the first EV to have a range that exceeds 500 miles, especially now that the Tesla Model S Plaid Plus model has been cancelled and one of just 2 EVs to offer over 1,000 horsepower. Obviously, we know that NIO are going to release their ET7 in 2022-2023, which will also do over 500 miles, but Lucid has the advantage of being a US-based company. US-based companies often drive a premium over Chinese-based companies. So guys, the bottom line. Lucid Motors has spent the last 5 years developing competitive technology and even supplying that technology to Formula E racing teams. Today, it's a legitimate company that now has the funding needed to scale. Early interest in the Lucid Air Dream Edition, Lucid's 2022 delivery target of 20,000 vehicles, and the goal to turn a slight profit as early as next year are encouraging. Obviously, there's a lot of interest in that Lucid Air Dream Edition with over 10,000 pre-orders. Investors should bear in mind that Lucid's timeline and projections could vary wildly. And I think that's also very important to remember because no one can 100% accurately predict the future and every single thing they're going to do down to the exact day. However, given the long-term potential of EVs and Lucid's competitive advantage, the company seems to offer the highest growth potential of any automotive stock on the market today. Just taking this bit here from a different article on Axios, the big picture. Change is on the horizon. Electric vehicles are still a tiny fraction of total car sales, but they're expected to make up at least 30% of the market share of new vehicle sales by 2030. So obviously EVs are going to massively increase in sale numbers well into the future. Having a look at a chart prepared by Deloitte shows that global vehicle sales was increasing between 2010 and 2019, give or take, from 75 million vehicles a year up to nearly 100 million vehicles a year. From 2020, obviously the electric vehicle sales are predicted to increase quite substantially, and by 2030, with around 100 million vehicles sold per year, probably give or take around a quarter of that is going to come from EVs. That's around 25 million vehicles per year. If Lucid can capture a decent size of that market along with Tesla, they could be selling millions of vehicles per year and generating billions, if not potentially even trillions of dollars worth of sales. Tesla actually started the production and the sales of the Tesla Model S, the very first few vehicles, in May 2012. At this time, Tesla had a share price of nearly $7. Production really started getting off the ground for the Model S in 2013 when Tesla saw share prices of $22, $22, $27, $34, so around the same price as CCIV. Now, obviously, that Tesla has matured substantially. Tesla has a share price of over $600 and at one point was around $900 per share. Therefore, over the next 10 years, I don't see any reason why CCIV or Lucid Motors wouldn't have a share price of around $600 per share, especially if they can create better vehicles in a faster time span. Guys, if you want to pick up some shares in CCIV, but you haven't yet invested, and you want to pick up those shares before the merger with Lucid Motors goes through, then be sure to sign up using the links down in the description below to get some free shares. You can currently get 2 free shares worth up to $1,850 with Webull at the moment, and a free share worth up to £200 with free trade if you're from the UK or from Europe. And as always guys, if you enjoyed this video, then be sure to check out some of my others. Alternatively, subscribe to the channel and ding that notification bell, because that way you'll be alerted when I upload a new video. Cheers!